24 years after Voyager's finale, it feels like Star Trek has given up on new generations. Star Trek's lack of a true replacement for Star Trek. Voyager suggests the franchise has lost interest in boldly going forward with new generations. From the 1960s to the 1990s, Star Trek TV shows charted a mostly linear course in terms of creative output. Star Trek. The original series took place in the 23rd century, then Star Trek. The Next Generation picked up the baton in the 24th, and Star Trek. Voyager was set immediately after that. Deep Space Nine sat parallel to The Next Generation and Voyager as an outlier in Star Trek's timeline, darker in tone and set on a fixed space station to offer something a little different. Nevertheless, the progression from the original series to The Next Generation to Voyager suggested Star Trek would always follow one main ship in each successive era. Even if shows like Deep Space Nine tried something different, Star Trek looked like it would forever be spearheaded by the adventures of a modern Starfleet vessel exploring the galaxy, continuing the line of succession from Enterprise to Enterprise D to Voyager. No Star Trek project since Voyager has starred a new generation. Since Star Trek, Voyager ended 21 years ago, the number of on-screen releases under the Star Trek banner has exploded. Strangely, none of those releases have accepted the mantle from Voyager by pushing into the late 24th century or 25th century with a new crew to reveal what comes next in Star Trek history. It started with Enterprise opting for a return to the pre-Kirk years, an innovative change and something Star Trek had avoided until that point. While its reputation has improved over the years, Enterprise received a mixed reception upon release, indicating that Star Trek must surely return to its traditional formula. Indeed, the exact opposite happened. There appears to be far more interest in exploring the two extremities of the timeline than in simply casting a new crew. J.J. Abrams took a sideways step by remaking the original series era at the movies with a brand new cast. That proved a wise decision, revitalizing Star Trek's fortunes on the big screen in the wake of Nemesis's failure. Star Trek's success in 2009 understandably heightened expectations that the next step would be a post-Voyager TV series set in the Prime universe. Again, Star Trek had other ideas. Discovery repeated Enterprise's trick of looking to the past, awkwardly attempting to slot between Archer's prequel and the original series. Eventually, that premise proved untenable and Star Trek Discovery was forced to relocate into the future. Even then, however, the series refused to become Voyager's successor, and instead warped far, far ahead into the 32nd century to sit in total isolation from the rest of Star Trek. As the IP then expanded rapidly, there was still no room for a new generation. Star Trek Picard was set at the right point in time, but functioned as an epilogue to the Enterprise D crew, and also dropped the adventure of the week format in favor of serialized mysteries. It's been 24 years since Star Trek. Voyager ended with a triumphant return home, closing the book on one of the franchise's most daring odysseys. But somewhere in the decades since Captain Janeway's final log entry, Star Trek lost sight of its own core mission, exploring new worlds and introducing new generations to the final frontier. While Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks have brought fun and nostalgic energy, most of the modern Trek slate has leaned heavily on legacy characters. Picard brought back the Next Generation crew. Discovery warped into the far future only to loop back into familiar tropes. Even Prodigy, which held real promise for younger fans, was briefly shelved before getting a second chance. Star Trek once dared to reinvent itself. The Next Generation was a gamble that paid off. Deep Space Nine challenged morality. Voyager gave us the Delta Quadrant and a female captain. Now, the franchise seems hesitant to boldly go anywhere unfamiliar. It's not that nostalgia is bad, but when the franchise stops developing bold, fresh stories with new crews and original stakes, when it forgets to inspire the next generation rather than just entertain the last, it risks becoming a museum exhibit instead of a living universe. The Next Generation. Once more,